Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Moodle Academy webinar on using Moodle for international virtual exchange. I'm Tom Rawson. I'm an education coordinator on the Moodle Academy team. And today I'm joined by Professor Eric Hagley. He's a Monbu Kagakusho Kokuhi scholar who taught for 23 years in Japan before giving up his tenured position at Muroran Institute of Technology to pursue a PhD at Griffith University in Australia. He serves as the chair of the Asia Pacific Virtual Exchange Association and has written and presented extensively on virtual exchange, or VE as it is termed, in his field. He's also the lead coordinator of the IVEProject, and we're very pleased to have him here today. So, without further ado, Professor Hagley, I'll pass over to you.
Thank you very much, Tom, for that very warm introduction. I've worked with Tom for many years and have really appreciated all of his support over those years as well. As per his introduction, yes, my name is Eric Hagley. I am an Australian, but for actually 23 years I worked in Japan. For 5 years I studied there. So I have almost half my life was lived in Japan. And I've also, via the International Virtual Exchange Project, interacted with and worked with teachers and students from many, many other countries as well. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the International Virtual Exchange Project and how Moodle is just the perfect match for that. So what are we going to do today? Firstly, have a bit of a chat about what virtual exchange is, what the International Virtual Exchange Project, which is the IVEProject, and why Moodle is perfect for it. Just going to my timer on so that I know what's going on. And then share a little bit about what happens in the International Virtual Exchange Project, why we're using Moodle, and how some of the features really align with what we're doing in that project. At the end, I'll very briefly touch on some of the results from research that we've done on how that has influenced and results from students participating in the project, and then open the floor up to question and answer. Tom mentioned that you could put those questions in the Q&A. If you really feel like you need to jump in and ask a question, please do, but ideally keep them to the end. Okay, so what's virtual exchange and why are we using it? Well, when I started working in Japan, I was working as a language teacher teaching English. I was actually also teaching Japanese at some point, but mainly English and also intercultural communication, intercultural studies. In Japan back then, in the 90s, the internet was not really developed, and certainly Japan was not the travel mecca that it has become recently. I was living and working in the North Island in a regional city, and basically you walked out the door, the chances of you interacting with anyone other than a Japanese person were close to zero. So I was teaching English to a group of Japanese students, and I always was remembering back to my days as a high school student, where my French teacher would say to us, okay, talk with your partner in French. And it was really quite embarrassing and, not something that I wanted to do. I knew that the students in my classroom, who were all Japanese, if I said to them, speak in English, it's not the same kind of feeling. So what I wanted to do was give them the opportunity to interact with people from other countries. And that's the crux of what virtual exchange is. It's the exchange comes from exchange student. When you go to a foreign country and you become part of that culture and interact with the people of that culture. So that's the exchange part, exchange student. And you're not becoming a real exchange student because you're not actually traveling. The virtual side of it is this is an online environment. And that's why I believe the term virtual exchange is ideal for what we do. The term virtual exchange is evolving, and there's a lot of different terminology around it. You may have heard the term COIL, and that is another term that is being used. But for me, COIL, Collaborative Online International Learning, is more involved with people who, as for example, someone studying engineering in India or Germany, getting online and studying engineering together, even though they are in different countries. That's the COIL concept for me. Virtual exchange is more focused on language and culture. The COIL, the language and culture does come into it, but it's not the focus. Virtual exchange for me, that is the focus. Foreign language and intercultural studies. So that's what we are doing in the International Virtual Exchange Project. Obviously, the benefits are many, and looking at some of the research later, we'll have a look at that. For the moment, though, I want to go and actually have a look at this most recent International Virtual Exchange Project, because slides just don't do it justice. So basically what we have are students from multiple different countries coming together online to practice using the foreign language that they are studying, and in this case it's English. On that site that I'm going to introduce, we also do have classes in a separate course where students, for example, are studying Chinese in Japan and students in China who are studying Japanese, and they are working on dual language virtual exchanges where they share the learning of those two languages together. Students in the United States studying Japanese with students in Japan who are studying English. Again, dual language virtual exchange. The one I'm going to show you is everyone from all the different countries are studying English, so it's a lingua franca virtual exchange. So let's go and have a quick look at that. The presentation style I'm going to be using is having the browser open, and I'm just going to be closing tabs as I go. So hopefully that doesn't cause too much irritation for you. So this is the website, IVEProject.org. Basically what happens is students come here after their teacher has signed up. So over the years, I have presented on this exchange, and many people have said, wow, it's interesting, I want to join. So they've given me their details. I post on various social networks saying, okay, the next exchange is going to open up, send me or sign up. Teachers sign up. I send the teachers who sign up an email with instructions on sending me their students' data. I put the data into the system. Once the exchange begins, students can come here and access the website via the login button or using the Moodle app. Okay, so logging in is the standard Moodle login page, and this is one of the things that we love about Moodle, we have various different options for the different people who are signing in. We have OAuth, we have LTI, we have standard logins. We generally ask participants to use OAuth, but for students in China, for example, they often will have trouble with this. So they will log in via a username and password, but there are other schools that are very strict with their privacy, etc. So they will use LTI. So that is another beauty of Moodle and why we use Moodle, that the various different ways that we can access authentication. Okay, we ask the students to participate in research. And this is another beauty of Moodle, they have these built in, the various different privacy policies and policies that you can create. So people can accept this or not, this particular policy. The second policy that we have is an etiquette policy. And again, this one is in multiple languages. The other beautiful part of Moodle, the multi-language aspect. But I would like to be able to show you that right now. But this, if you are accessing this site from, for example, Colombia, this would be showing in Spanish. If you were accessing it from Japan, it would be showing in Japanese, Chinese, etc. So this is absolutely wonderful. We love this. All these features that Moodle has that pretty much no other LMS has. So this is one of the many reasons that we use Moodle. The students don't have to agree to the research policy, but they do have to agree to this etiquette policy. And this is something that we talk about with the teachers prior to students participating, so that they know that this is important. Okay. Once they log in, this is the page they hit, the dashboard. Now, we have set up some special parts to the dashboard. This is a special add-on that we have asked a programmer to create. It's called the Forum Dashboard. And when students first log in, after participating for a little while, they see these numbers. And we're going to talk a little bit more about these because these are important for the assessment that most teachers apply to students' participation in the exchange. So on our dashboard, we have this forum dashboard. There's more data here. All of this data comes from the student participation in the exchange. We'll talk about engagement level, etc. later as well. Obviously, you have the current exchange there and other courses that students might be involved in. There is also, when the course is live, the calendar. And that is very helpful when we have live language exchange there as well. Okay, so the students come to this page, as do the teachers. Teachers will see the teachers section, students will not see this section. Again, the beauty of Moodle. You can set up various areas of the course page, which, based on groupings or groups, people can see or not see. As a teacher, yes, you can see this, but the students will only see this. Now, this exchange has finished. It finished at the end of November. At the end of June. We have 2 exchanges each year. Each runs for 8 weeks. So you're seeing the finished product. And yep, some information there. So you can see that a number of different countries participated. The data, which I'll show you how I extracted a little bit later, shows which countries did exceptionally well. The Indonesian students in this particular exchange were phenomenal, as to the Brazilians, Ukrainians, Japanese, and to a certain extent the other students participating as well. All of this data was created using special reports that, again, Moodle allows us to create. So that's the end result. We also have these certificates. And this is an add-on that we're using that someone, I forget who it was, but a shout out and an enormous gratitude to the people who created that add-on module, certificate module. It's brilliant. We love it. The students can, if they have met the criteria, get those certificates. And via the, I might just actually show you how we've set that up. So in the settings there, if we scroll down, this restrict access, yeah? This restrict access, it's such a beautiful feature of Moodle. So that is another thing that we absolutely love about Moodle. But if students do very well, they get the International Virtual Exchange certificate. So the absolute most important part of the International Virtual Exchange project is the asynchronous interaction via the forum module. Now, we've been going it started in 2004, the very first virtual exchange project. From 2015, the Japanese government via the Kaken grants said that, you're doing really well, we want to make you expand. So I received a grant from the Kaken section of the education department there. And we went from class to class exchanges to having 750 students in that first exchange from 5 different countries. Last year, we had over 11,000 students from approximately 31 different countries participating in this exchange over the 2 8-week periods. When the students arrive, they firstly have to participate in a forum just to start to get to interact with each other. And the forum is the finding out about each other forum. So let's have a look at one of those forums. This is that. What I've done here with the assistance of Adam Jenkins, who's in the crowd today. Welcome, Adam, and thank you very much for all you do, which is an enormous amount. What we've done is to ensure privacy, we've changed the names of everyone and given them the user ID, the Moodle user ID with IVE here. But you can see that each participant, when they participate, has their first name, just their first name, and their country showing. So we keep the privacy quite well, I feel. They come to the forum and they can create a post and then people reply to it. Now this, for a language learning student, is brilliant. Yeah, this is what we want students to be doing, using the languages that they are studying in real-world interactions. Okay, now this first interaction, you want it to be a gentle one, yeah? And this is a very gentle nature, yeah? Do you like nature? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite sport, etc.? You can see that students, they're not too difficult. Just, okay, let's find out about each other. That's the whole crux of the thing. But you can see 316 replies. The first one was 3rd of May. This course started the first week of May. It finished at the end of June. Students continued through to the end of July, which is when this particular project finished. Okay, so even though it finished in the end of June officially, students kept going. They kept going. They loved it. They were really active. We talk about autonomy in education, autonomy in foreign language learning. This is brilliant for that. Students are really firing. They want to use the language that they're studying. They want to interact with people from multiple different countries. And you can see, yeah, Indonesia, Japan, who else have we got there? Colombia, Brazil, you see pop up every now and then, Ukraine, many, many different countries. This first exchange, very, very gentle. Let's have a look at what it looks like in there. If we close that tab, okay, this simple one, what's your favorite food? Students can easily add information, multimedia, and this is what they do. They share, they find out about their peers, countries and cultures. You can see here that they're using the language that they are studying. Okay, what we wanted to find out was, okay, what depth of interaction is happening? And so when we change this to display replies in threaded form, we can see that depth start to emerge. So the Japanese student has replied, another reply, you can see through the dates that this interaction starts to get quite deep. And they are starting to get to know each other. And this is one of the things that we looked at and we went, yes, this is what we want to see. And so when we talk about engagement level, this is a deep engagement level, what's happening here. And I'll show you hopefully a little bit later some of the numbers that we've been able to generate from reports that we've created based on that. Here, the interaction is not as deep. But we can see that different students interact at different levels of depth, okay, engagement depth. And this is, as I said, we'll show you some of the numbers that we get from this a little bit later. Okay, so the forum, it's just a basics forum. We've got in that one, this one, that initial one, each person just posted one discussion. That's all it was, the forum type. So just to get to know others. Okay, the open forum we set up so that, okay, anyone can post any number of forum discussions, and we wanted to set it up so that the groups of topics were set. So we've got, culture questions. At the moment, all the groups, you can see all participants, but each of these groups is based on whichever one they click here. Okay, so you can see the group shows there. If you want to focus in on a particular topic, you can click on one of those and it will show up. Now, this forum, for those of you who used Moodle in the past, going way back, you'll have noticed around about, I think it was 2018, 2019, the forum view changed quite dramatically. And that was because the International Virtual Exchange project asked a programmer to rewrite the forum code. We were having real trouble with students coming in. In the past, the student name would have a link, a hot link. Their last post would have a hot link. At the moment, there is a hot link in the most recent post that you can be clicked to, but there used to be full links here. There was another link over here, and we had students clicking all over the place and getting lost. We also had students who would post. Now, in this forum, you can see each page has 100 forum discussions. We've got 23 pages. So previously, you didn't have the star here. And if you posted in this kind of setup, your discussion would disappear. With this feature that we asked the programmer to develop, and which Moodle HQ seems to have liked because they've incorporated it into Moodle Core, if you click on this star, that star stays that starred discussion stays here on page one, and it's always there. So students started to work out, okay, I can keep my discussion very clearly focused on page one. It's not going to get lost. So that even though students are posting multiple times and participating in multiple different discussions, if they star their discussion, it stays on page one. And we found this works really well. Really, really well. So we're very, very happy that we've given back to the Moodle community. They've obviously liked what we organised via this forum. Okay, so let's have another look at some of the discussions that happen in this open forum, and also a couple of others. This forum was really interesting, the Solve a Problem, Complete a Task. In the past, we've had students from Colombia who are in quite rural villages ask about changing the course of the creek in their village. And we had a student in Japan who was studying to be an engineer get involved and help them out in changing the path of their creek in their village, which was amazing. We've had in that most recent discussion, most recent International Virtual Exchange project, some really interesting discussions take place, and students helping each other out with tasks and projects. So that's a really important part of this project as well. Another area is what we call side quests, and one of those is the Real Voices, which is a film festival that's run by a group of teachers, and it's for students who are studying a foreign language. So that is a really interesting side quest. An art gallery. We found that in the forums, students were posting a lot of their own art. So we said, okay, let's make that a proper place for students to post and to see, so we can have a quick look at that. The other one was recipes from around the world, and this is amazing as well. I'll show you something there soon. Design the next reaction icons, and you can see that these have been developed. I'll show you some of those as well. Pets. So let's just have a very quick look at some of those. Here are some of the pictures from the different students in the exchange. Down the bottom here, you can see that there are quite a few. Each of these has, each page has 10, so there's 31 pages there, over 300 artworks shared and commented on. The recipes, yeah, we can see here also the recipes. Now, if we have a look at one, the Mexican rice pudding, for example, we've got what it looks like. The students then put the ingredients, the procedure, and we can get comments on those. And we've had students then go back to forums and take videos of themselves cooking this and sharing how they did it in English. So it's a brilliant way of practicing the language. Okay, other side quests, again, student autonomy. We asked them, okay, if you were asking people about your country, what questions would you like to ask them? And so we created a database, or Adam Jenkins created a database, and then we got the questions, and then we made quizzes out of those questions. So the questions are generated by the students. They're put into quizzes. Students from other countries take those quizzes, and if they don't know the answer, we say, well, go to the forum and ask the question and find the answer. And that's how we've generated even more discussion and this thirst for knowledge and thirst for using the language. So these questions here, some of these examples, which Indonesian island is known for its beautiful beaches, etc. And this is the database. Then we export from the database, create the question, upload it in, and the questions are ready to go in the quiz. Okay. And this is what it looks like. If we have a look at the quiz, we actually got hundreds of questions, and we set up the quiz so that it's randomly generated questions. No quiz is going to be the same. So once students complete the quiz and get over 60%, they automatically get a badge for that too. So that's an exciting part of it. We have a student-generated survey as well from culture. Again, the database is set up. Students post their questions, and we then share them with a number of teachers. Then we choose the best questions, and we create the actual survey. The survey is using the questionnaire module, which is, again, an amazing module that we love. Thank you to the developers of that module. We set it at visible groups so that you can check how people from the different countries answer those questions, and then discussions generated from those answers are an important part of the intercultural development of students throughout the exchange. Okay, there's some pretty basic questions in there, but once we get down to the end of these, what type of traveler are you? What's important to you in order to stay healthy? Do you think you're a spiritual person? Most important in life? When we see the answers to these, which Andrew Johnson is wonderful in organizing, you can see that each country actually answers quite differently, and it becomes quite an interesting and teaching topic. Which of the following is the most important thing in your life right now? Japan, you've got family, whereas Mexico, Indonesia, Colombia in particular, family is the most important. So you can see that some quite big differences there. And this really becomes an incredibly powerful way of learning about the other cultures. Okay. So that's just a quick overview of what we do. As I mentioned, students who do particularly well get the certificate. That's what the certificate looks like at the moment. The name, where they're from, dates, certificate number, these are all automatically generated, and are, it's a wonderful way of looking at things there. Okay, so a little bit more detail. Okay, we needed easily accessible statistical reports, and Moodle allowed us to create that. So participation in that open forum. What did students do? How did they get involved? So we had this forum report created, and here you can see this forum report. You can download it, you can view it, you can check, okay, is it person-to-person engagement that we're looking for? Thread total count, there's some more information on that here. Is it only international engagement, or are you interested in students who are, say, from the south of Japan, also interacting with those from the north of Japan? If you want national engagement, you can also have a look at that. So let's have a look at that report if we view it. So you can see, unique days active, views, unique days viewed, the word count, amount of multimedia used, the number of images, all of this data, first engagement, second engagement, third engagement, fourth plus, average engagement, maximum engagement level. Okay, first post, last post. reactions received, reactions given, and then a link to the student's complete report. Yeah, that's the forum report. The data you can see is really quite phenomenal. Um, you can see how many words they've used throughout all the forums. You can see how many posts, how many replies, the depth of engagement within their replies. All of that information is shown in a clear report. Teachers can then also see how much multimedia has been used. The number of days they've been active in forums, the number of views they've had of forums. All of that data is shown, and it really is quite phenomenal, that data. What was I going to say? Yes, the reactions. This is something that Matthew Cotter was influential in creating. We wanted to have in the forum reaction buttons. And so, again, we asked a programmer to organize for reaction buttons to be made. And those reaction buttons, let's have a look. We use them on the ones that students created. Yeah. So these buttons here were created by students. And if we look at that one, it's the thumbs up, but there's an IVE, International Virtual Exchange, within there. Yeah. So these buttons were created by the students, and in the forum reaction settings, you can add those buttons yourself. Yeah. So you add the icon as an image. You can change the image. Add text to the image, etc. All of those things can be added. Applying reaction buttons on replies, delayed counter visibility, all this kind of things that are also a part of that. So these little things that are just amazing. No other management system gives you this kind of freedom to do what you want to do. And so, again, we're just incredibly grateful to the Moodle community, as well as the students and the teachers who participated in this International Virtual Exchange project. The other really cool thing that we created was a student custom groups module. And this is, again, we asked a programmer. What we wanted to do was we wanted to get students to create their own groups. In the past, a number of years back, we used to create the groups ourselves. And sometimes the group dynamic worked and sometimes it didn't. So what we thought was, okay, wouldn't it be wonderful if a student said, I want to do this project, and I want to get people who are interested in my project together and just focus on that project throughout the, within this big project, get 10, 15, 20 people involved from different countries and really focus on that. And we want to keep it just to ourselves. This is what this module can do. Yeah, you set it up, create your own group. You can create groupings and groups within it. You can say, okay, the minimum number of members required to form our group. set that. The maximum number, again, you can set that. And then you can also set the maximum members per country. So you don't want too many people from just one country in there. You want multiple different countries. And this is how we've set this up. And when we click on that save and display, it comes to here. Students can create a new group, or they can join a group that's been done, that's been created. And once this time limit is up, all I have to do is click this button and the groups are automatically created. And we've got a forum set up with separate groups so that each group can go to that forum and just participate in their own little group. No one else can see it and do whatever they want in that group. We've also got a BBB, a big blue button set up so that they can go in and talk in real time in their groups as well. And that's a really, really powerful system that we've set up for our international virtual exchange. We have to be very careful about real-time video calls. Yeah, if something inappropriate happens during one of those, it's going to reflect badly on us. But if the students take the initiative, autonomous learning, really important. They create the group, they take on the responsibility, then that's up to them. And that is really how it's worked. And we've seen some wonderful things happen in different projects that students have developed over the years. So, another wonderful thing about Moodle is its open source nature. If you want to do something and you've got the funds, you can go out and you can do it. And this module has been really wonderful for us. Okay. We've already talked about the questionnaire module. We have multiple languages, feedback after the exchange from students, from teachers. We use the questionnaire module for that. Okay, authentication, as I mentioned, we've got manual counts, LTI, and you can see that various users from different countries will require different authentication, and Moodle is brilliant for that. So we've absolutely loved using Moodle. It just is such an amazing tool for us. And we're so grateful to the community and grateful to Moodle for creating this incredible tool that has just made our International Virtual Exchange project what it is today. So we thank you. On the International Virtual Exchange project site, there is a section there of research papers that have all been done showing the benefits of the International Virtual Exchange project. You can access that. That goes on for quite a bit more. Papers going back to, I think, 2014, almost even earlier. So yeah, lots of data to show that the Virtual Exchange project is doing well. It's beneficial to students and teachers. So if you're interested, have a bit of a look at that. And now I would like to open the floor up for any questions. I'm just going to have a quick look back through the chat, have a look at some of these questions. Okay.
Yep, you had a lot of support from Adam, giving links to all the different
brilliant
things that you've presented about, so people can take those links and make use of them. You had a few really nice comments. I'm not sure how to say the gentleman's name, I think, but Przemyk, maybe. Wrote that they loves the ideas for various exchanges as well as the database model being used. It's something he'd like to adopt.
Yes,
Adam
indeed.
mentioned publishing the database presets to Moodle.net. This might be something to do to share some of your presets with others who'd like to try them. And
Yeah.
the same poster said they really liked the database to quiz connection that you presented about, where the students put the questions in the database and later you made a multiple choice. I mean, a randomized question quiz for them. That was pretty exciting
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, and
if you really want to do something interesting, you can give the students the permission to create quizzes. It's something that a colleague of ours up in Hakodate did once, and it's really quite interesting seeing students get into Moodle as a kind of teacher and create their own quiz questions. Using, if you give them a tutorial on how to create a quiz, and then give them the permission to create quizzes, that's amazing as well. It's possibly a step too far for us. It was, but yeah, amazing thing that you can do, and that's the beauty of Moodle. Okay.
Eric, actually, I have a question around that. Can you
Yes.
further explain the connection between the database and the questions themselves, and how did you insert them on the question bank? Was it a copy paste or was it something else?
No. So we exported the data from the database. Okay, and Adam and myself have both done this. Adam generated it. So you export the data from the database. There's a little bit of tweaking, and then you can create a CSV file in what's the format? I forget the name. It's the basic
GIF
quiz
format,
format.
maybe?
Gift
GIF
format. Gift
format?
format.
Yeah.
Yeah, gift format. And a little bit of tweaking, it becomes a gift. Then you upload it into the questionnaire.
I see.
Not the questionnaire, sorry, the quiz module. So yeah. But it's relatively painless. You know, we gave up checking the questions because we actually found quite a few mistakes there. But we said these are student generated. We take no responsibility for the veracity of them. And in some cases, it generated questions in the forums, which is good. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically how we did it.
Okay.
Eric, may I interrupt you for a sec?
Yes.
We've had a request for you to go back to the student dashboard and explain the numbers on there a little bit more. If you can.
Yes.
That first
Okay.
initial dashboard, I think that you were showing.
Yes.
I think one of the interesting numbers on there is the average engagement score. That shows how many replies and how deep into the conversation they went. Is that what that is?
Yes. Yeah. I'll just show
I
you
find that
that
very
now.
interesting as a measurement of participation in a forum. That's a little deeper than did you just make a post or a reply?
Yeah. So here it is here. And most students are only in the one course, but I'm in multiple courses. That's why it's showing up here. But if you choose this one, so average engagement level, yeah. We'll open it all the way up. 10 first engagements, 2 second engagements, 1 third engagement, 3 is the maximum. How much media I've used, the number of replies I've made, number of reactions I gave, number of reactions I've received, how many words I used. All of this data is shown in the forum dashboard. And it's quite colourful, it's clear. Many teachers assess their students on this data. So students are really, okay, they want to see these going up. Okay. Now, that average engagement level, if you want to, I think that might be what you are also interested in. If we have a look at, for example, that finding out about each other, we'll just show that again. If we look at this with 316 replies, and we want it in threaded form. Yep. So when we asked for the data for the forum report to be generated, we asked, okay, thread to. There's various different ways of looking at engagement. This is the simplest way. Okay, so here's the initial post. So this student from Japan has replied to that initial post. So that's a level 1 engagement. Now, you would think that posting is a level 1 engagement, but actually the Indonesian student here who posted here, their first level 1 engagement is that post. And then because they've replied here, this is a level 2 engagement. So they have a level 1 and a level 2 engagement here. If they are on the dashboard, they would see, just with that, they would see 1 first engagement and 1 second engagement. The Japanese student, if they just replied, would see 1 first engagement. Now, the Japanese student replied to the Indonesian student again. That's a level 2 engagement. Received a reply, this student has jumped up to level 3. This student again gets to level 3, 4, 5. Each in-depth engagement goes up by 1. Okay, so if we went to this student and logged in as that student, their maximum engagement level, for this one here, if we counted those out, it would probably go down to around about 14, I think. So that's the maximum engagement level. Our record for maximum engagement level is 85 at this stage. So that's 85 over a period of 8 weeks. Students interacting daily, sometimes twice a day,
85.
back and forth. Yeah. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about when we say engagement level. So we've got a maximum engagement level, but over various different forums, that particular engagement might be 85, but the next one might be 1. If you get an average, it's 85 plus 1 divided by 2. Your average engagement level drops pretty dramatically. You might that's how we look at these numbers here. That's what those numbers mean. Okay.
Like having a baseline of posts before you really look at those numbers seriously is probably important, right?
Yes. Yeah. Ashley, no worries. Thank you for joining us.
All right. Are you? Yeah.
Prozemic, have I answered your question there, though?
I think you did. He said amazing customizations. Let's have them all listed and linked together in the Academy course.
Can I just butt in for a sec? Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yes, please.
Great job.
Okay, great. Thank you. Version of the IV course that somehow takes into account students' use of AI. Yeah, it's something that we're battling with, the AI thing. We're looking at it now as, okay, what is our goal? Our goal is to encourage students to interact using the language that they're studying. And it's true. You saw it very clearly. Students are using AI. The posts, the quality of the posts after AI became widespread compared to when this first came out. I mean, the quality of English language used in those initial exchanges, wow, it was, these were learners, and you could see that. Whereas now, the quality of the language, because it's AI brushed up, is really quite, it's native speaker level, expert speaker level. Not allowed to say native speaker anymore. First language level. So, yeah. But is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? This is something that we ask the teachers about because they're assessing it. We don't assess it. The teachers are assessing it. They're communicating. When I was teaching, when Adam's teaching, we say, look, try and create your post using your English. Then go to AI and say, okay, this is what I've used. Can you brush it up for me? See how AI does it. That's the teacher helping them. If you put in a good prompt to the AI saying, okay, explain why you changed it as well. And this is really important. Always tell your students, okay, ask the AI to explain why the AI changed the text that you input, and give some like grammatical or vocabulary feedback as well. That kind of use of AI, I've got no problem with that. I think that is going to help, the students. Individual teachers, if they've got 40 students in the class, which in Asia is actually quite common, they can't give that individualized feedback. So if the teachers are, telling their students do this, then if they're doing it the right way, I've got no problems with it. There are problems with students stuffing up the use of AI. There's no question about that. And we've got to go make an explanation. Adam has his hand up. I'm sure he wants to add to this. So yeah.
So there's another thing that we actually implemented fairly recently is called pre-flight. And pre-flight is a bunch of activities that prepare the students for the international exchange. And during pre-flight, it's similar, it's the same system. They can familiarize themselves with the system, but also they can only interact with other people from their own classroom, from their home school. So my students can only interact with my own students in the pre-flight activities. It's not international. Now, at that stage, we ask them to reflect on, okay, how are you going to interact with other students in the exchange? What would be an interesting post for other students? What do you think would draw other people into the discussion? What problems do you think you might encounter? How should people use AI? And we asked the question to the students. We posed the question to the students saying, if you were to write your heart out, you spent a lot of time, you put a lot of thought into it, and you wrote a wonderful post to put up there on the IVEProject, and then somebody just gave you a ChatGPT generated response, how would that make you feel? And we get the students to focus on this idea as a concept and go, yeah, that would probably feel kind of rubbish. I wouldn't really want to reply to that, would I? Okay, in that case, try not to do that to other people. And we encourage students, therefore, to be more self-policing. And then that tells them, okay, AI use is going to be somewhat okay, but there's going to be some boundary, which if you cross that boundary, it's not okay anymore. So instead of us deciding, here's where the boundary is, and dictating that to the students, we let them, through a process of reflection, discover that boundary for themselves. Okay, so that I think is currently the most successful way of dealing with the AI problem we've found thus far. Okay, so outright banning it just is not going to work. It's just that's not an option. And education. We're here to educate, so let's educate.
It seems like you've more than answered Przemek's question, and he agrees with what you've said. I think we're just about out of time here, so we should probably wrap it up if we can.
The last question he asks is an idea for a specially dedicated forum exchange, AI forum exchange. And we actually tried that last year. It didn't work out so well. I don't know. Perhaps we didn't do it last time around, but last year we did try one. It didn't take off. I mean, students saw how silly the idea really was. An AI interacting with an AI, and trying to learn about culture that way. It didn't work. It really didn't work. But it was an interesting, kind of way of doing things. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Thank you,
Right.
Hugo, as well.
Yep. Just let me do a little bit of tidying up here at the end. So, Eric, thank you so much for that very interesting and informative session. We really enjoyed listening. And Adam, thanks for your inputs. And Prosemics, thank you for your nice questions to keep the conversation going. That was great. I just got a little bit of housekeeping here at the end. So if you enjoyed this session, we'd love you to consider getting further involved and help us grow by contributing to the development of Moodle Academy. We got a lot of nice plugs for Moodle by the IVEProject and by Eric today. So thank you, Eric. You can do this by visiting our Get Involved course, which you'll find on the front page of the Moodle Academy site. You can suggest ideas for new webinars and courses, and you can vote on ideas that have already been suggested by others. And we're always on the lookout for community members to help present webinars and co-create short online courses. And we'd love your help making Moodle Academy more inclusive. So if you're able to, please go to our Translate Moodle Academy course and get started with helping us translate our courses and webinars into other languages. And of course, please help spread the word about Moodle Academy by telling your colleagues about the courses we offer and the webinars we run. When you complete a course, you earn a badge. Participating in this webinar, you also earn a badge. It's great. Educators and administrators might like to think about getting Moodle qualified with the Moodle Educator qualification or the Moodle Administrator qualification. You can learn more about these qualifications from the Moodle qualifications block in the Academy homepage. And thank you for joining us today. I hope you found this talk about the International Virtual Exchange Project useful and Professor Hagley's talk interesting, and I hope to see you on the Moodle Academy course forums and in our upcoming webinars in the future. And that's all we've got for today. Thank you, everyone.